Hopefully nobody missed the bus today because it is the Wednesday edition of the Morning Wager, August 26th. We've got 3 free plays for you today. And as a special bonus, we will be breaking down the ACC. Yes, 2026 College Football Preview Morning Wager style begins today. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Mark, Zinno, I have already, as it is my duty, mentioned it is Wednesday. Tuesday is, of course, always $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk, Picks and Parlays, Sports Memo. You were a winner on $5 Tuesday.
It was not supposed to be sweaty. Then it got really sweaty, and then it didn't matter anyway. I mean, the Angels' first 5, they were up 5-0, and we had a half run in our pocket. Decided to blow that 5-run lead because Walbert couldn't get through 4 innings. And they went right to the Angels bullpen, which is complete. What's the word we're looking for? Ass. And they blew the 5-run lead. Thankfully, it was 5-5 after the top half of the 5th inning. So the half run in our pocket, obviously made life easy from that standpoint. But they actually scored a run in the bottom of the 6th anyway to make it bottom of the 5th rather to make it 6-5. So long story short, we get a win. I think we are now 8-1-1 over our last 10.
Mark Zinno cashing tickets each and every day.
That's what the song says. I don't know if it's true, but
you're hot. At least the last few days, 8-1-1. And hey, kudos to you, by the way. I know
for getting my kids to the bus this morning on time?
That too.
Okay. All right.
Now I know that you threw out to the viewers in the comments section yesterday. By the way, folks, you can always at any time feel free to comment with your thoughts on the Morning Wager. We welcome all comments, positive or negative. But I saw you commented yesterday, ideas for punishment. You were opening that up to a public forum because your kids missed the bus. If anyone missed yesterday's show, there was some hilarity at the end as Mark just out. I could tell he was bothered by something, and then he just blurted out, "We need to wrap this up. My kids are about to miss the bus." So I know that punishment was something that you were open to ideas there. Have you settled on anything, dare I ask?
A couple of floggings.
Okay.
We're a fan of corporal punishment in this house.
Okay, that is, I don't know if that's.
Hey, listen, I have respect for authority because I got my ass kicked when I was a kid.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
you did.
That's how it works. Yes.
I can't imagine you getting your ass kicked.
Have you ever been around an Italian mother who throws a shoe?
No.
Okay, well, you better keep running. Thing was like, shoe.
All right,
at you. Although my mother was a big fan of the broom handle. She would swing that thing like, she was Mark McGuire.
She wasn't on steroids, I hope.
Last time I checked, no, she's still 4'11". So.
Oh, okay. Well, steroids make your muscles grow. I don't think they make you taller necessarily. They make your head bigger, from what I'm told.
That's HGH. But anyway, so we're trending in a good direction here. Hope to keep it going. Excited for week 0.
I wanted, before we got off on this divergent path here, the long and winding road, if you will, I was going to give you your flowers, your kudos, because I know you take it as a sense of personal pride when this happens. You mentioned your $5 play was on the Angels in the first 5, and that gets home. Well, guess what the Angels did?
Oh, their bullpen sucks.
They blew it and lost the game. So I know that makes you always smile and swell up with joy when you get a first 5 winner on a team that loses full game. I will point out, I too was a winner on $5 Tuesday. The Detroit Tigers, get it done. We'll be talking more about them later in the show, but a nice underdog winner, 4% best bet, Mark, plus 120. I actually doubled down because the Rays got a little funky with the opener, as they always do, so I had to re-enter. Hey, we'll take it. 4% winner on underdog. We are now, you mentioned how you're 8-1-1 your last 10. I'm 24-12-2 my last 38. A quick check at WagerTalk.com, Mark. Last 30 days in MLB tab, Brian Powers sits atop the rankings. That's me, in case if you were unaware. So I just wanted to point that out. All right.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You know, that is actually what I live for in this industry, is just to make Mark Zinno proud, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can make you proud. Coming up again, we've got 3 free plays. We will be also, again, guys, college football breakdown start today. The ACC, we'll be looking at our favorite win totals, some futures. Look, I think we all agree this is Miami's conference to lose. Who might be taking them on in the conference championship game? We'll hit on as much of it as we can here, and it will start. We'll get to Major League Baseball first in about 40 seconds.
Wake up, Mr. Sleepyhead. You are late.
It's the morning wager.
I've got a hangover. Who knows what that means?
We're going to do this again.
Garçon, coffee.
So I have a story to tell. May I tell a story?
Oh, so what are you going to tell us, tough guys?
You really set me off, okay?
Take caution in your tone, Commander.
I went 4-1 today. Zinno, I went 4-1.
Bonnie, anything to add?
No.
The morning wager starts now.
You know, earlier I mentioned how great it was for you to have the Angels first 5, cash the ticket, they lose. You don't even care that they lose full game. Well, unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of that scenario, if you will, with our show best bet yesterday. The Diamondbacks, they were down 4-0. They come back and win 5-4. So we'll see if we can sweep the free plays today. You, sir, were correct with your free play yesterday, so you are up first. You had the Braves plus 1.5 on the show yesterday. You didn't even need the plus 1.5.
No.
You are seeing it. You are seeing it well, sir.
It was a prime spot for the Braves yesterday.
All right. You're gonna take us to the West Coast here, where the Padres have lost 2 in a row and they've been unlucky.
I don't like the starter for the Padres here, Randy Vasquez. I don't think he's very good, and I don't enjoy backing him. What I'm backing here is the fact that the Padres, who have been, let me just double check the numbers here, because we know how good their offense has been in the second half. They have scored the 3rd most runs of any team in baseball in the second half. They've scored exactly 2 runs in this series. I don't expect that to continue. Brian Power tells me I'm overthinking the team total over 4.5.
Mark Zinno has disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what happened to him. That's not something you see every day. We'll see if we can get Mark back here on the show. Maybe I'll get to we'll complete his play on the Padres in just a second. I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. Well, I could sing and dance for you, or I could go over my portion of the sloppy parlay, which is going to be the Blue Jays. I got this wrong yesterday, guys. Kansas City has now won 9 in a row. It's the franchise's longest win streak in over 9 years. Bottom line is, here's Mark again.
I don't know what happened. What was
I don't either. That was very scary, to be honest. When you just
what was the last thing you heard?
It was how you were overthinking things. Let me just get through this Blue Jays thing, and then we'll come back to you. All right.
Sorry.
Anyway, guys, the Royals have won 9 in a row. It's their longest win streak in 9 years. 5-3 win last night. I thought the Royals got a little lucky at the end. The Blue Jays left the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th. Then they score 2 runs in the 9th, the Jays do. And how do they make their final out? Running the bases. It's not hyperbole, Mark, to say the Royals are the worst road team in all of baseball. They've got the worst record, 23-44. They score by far the fewest runs per game on the road, 3.6. 7 of their 9 wins during this streak have come at Kauffman Stadium, where they're 36-30 and average 4.9 runs per game. So I just don't see this win streak continuing for KC. Their bullpen stinks, 29th in ERA. And you had started to talk about how wanting to not liking a guy named Randy. Well, I'm fading a guy named Randy here. Randy Dobnak. There is arguably no bigger regression candidate, guys, in all of Major League Baseball when you talk about starting pitchers. He has a 1.5 actual ERA versus a 4.74 expected ERA. That's a difference of more than 3 runs. That gap is more than a full run larger than Tomoyuki Sagano, who we've been telling you about all year, is a fade candidate. He has started to regress, oh, by the way. Dobnak, fine. I know he's not allowed to run his last 2 starts, but who's he faced, Mark? The Angels in Anaheim. Angels, the lowest scoring home team. And then he faced the A's on the road. The A's are the 2nd lowest scoring road team. I know the Blue Jays offense is no great shakes, okay? They're actually last overall in scoring, but it's not going to take many runs. I don't care. It's a bullpen game. I want to fade the Royals offense, the bullpen, Dobnik. Give me the Jays on the money line here for the sloppy parlay. My contribution.
All right.
So let's go back to you.
Let's go back to the
now.
Padres and the Pirates here. As I said, don't like Randy Vasquez. Not a very good starter. Don't really trust him. Don't want to play on him. But I'm not really playing on him. We've told you several times about how the Padres offense has been one of the hottest in baseball since the second half. In fact, they've scored the third most runs since the All-Star break of any team in baseball. They've only scored 2 runs so far in this series. We're going to play on that today. Some would say I was overthinking it, trying to take a team total in this game here over 4.5 because, well, that's overthinking, and it's the home team. You don't get all 9 at-bats because Ryan Power's going to whine if you do that. So we're just going to take the Padres here at a very short price to avoid getting swept by the hapless Pirates. And
hapless.
The fathers of San Diego, the Padres, will be victorious this afternoon.
Paul Skeens kind of looked like his old self last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. By the way, too, I would also be careful if you are going to play the Padres here. You might want to just pick action because Vasquez has had a couple of openers in his last couple of starts. So they may just do the old switcheroonie on you.
I think the Pirates have been pretty fortunate to win the last 2 nights. Hitting a home run off Mason Miller last night, for crying out loud. That happens about, as often as Halley's Comet, I think. So
every 86 years.
Yeah.
1984 was the last one.
Yeah. So it's been 2 one-run wins. So yeah, I could see that where the Padres get the job done tonight. Let us know what your favorite bet is, guys, for Wednesday by commenting down below. We do have some day games. Our best bet will be on a day game. We're going to get to that momentarily, but there's just a few things I want to share. We're not going to go through every game today because we need to talk about ACC football. But there are some things I wanted to point out to you, Mark Zinno. One of them is we have an incredible pitching matchup. Why do I keep saying matchup every day? Is something wrong with me? Have I forgotten how to speak?
Well, the short answer is yes. There's a lot wrong with you.
Oh, well, let's talk about this pitching matchup we have tonight in Seattle. Jesus Luzardo against Bryan. Woo! This is the irresistible force and the immovable object. Let Luzardo on the road has been absolutely fantastic. By the way, I said tonight, it's actually a 4:10 Eastern start in Seattle. But Luzardo on the road this year, guys, has been phenomenal. 7-0 with a 1.95 ERA. Not to be outdone, Bryan Woo at home this year is 7-0 with a 1.96 ERA, Mark. So runs should be scarce in the Pacific Northwest this afternoon. I just wanted to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I like that. I like the under there. I do.
That makes a lot of sense given how well both those two have pitched. One more thing, Eduardo Rodriguez is on the mound for Arizona today. We mentioned we got our best bet wrong yesterday because we played Arizona only in the first 5, not full game. Rodriguez, if you've caught this show in the past, you've heard us talk about, oh, this guy's a regression candidate, and it never seems to happen. I just wanted to share this with the people, Mark. Why I say that he's been a little fortunate this year. Check this out. With runners in scoring position, opponents are hitting just 156 against Rodriguez this year. With the bases loaded, opponent batting average 111. So he's been able to get those timely outs. We'll see if he can do that against a Cubs team that leads Major League Baseball in home runs hit in August. So just a few statistics to munch on here on Wednesday afternoon. But let's get to our best bets, shall we? Because it's the earliest game. Detroit Tigers. I told you this was my 4% best bet yesterday. They get off the schneid, snap the long losing streak, beat the Rays. I think the Tigers have been the unluckiest team in baseball this year. I think the Rays have been the luckiest team in baseball. I talked about luck rating in my write-up, my analysis, my written analysis. So you can check that out at wt.buzz/BP if you are so inclined. But we both like the Tigers to make it 2 straight over the Rays today, Mark.
We do. Most of all here, this is the matchup with Troy Milton against Freddie Peralta. There's a 4-run difference between these two gentlemen's ERAs. Freddie's is high, Troy's is low. Freddie's is bad, Troy's is good. Freddie's is ugly, Troy's is almost a little attractive. That's kind of what the difference here is. Tigers certainly have a level of desperation as they are trying to get themselves out of the doldrums of the AL wildcard race right at this point in time. Remember, it's like 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, they were chasing down the Chicago White Sox, and boom, it's all fallen apart since then. But I just think it's a spot here for the Tigers with a better starting pitching matchup.
Yeah. You talk about Tampa Bay and Detroit, luck-wise, I mentioned. Detroit is 13 wins below expectation right now based on their run differential. Tampa Bay is 7 above. So when I say Tampa's been a little lucky and Detroit has been unlucky, there you go. Let's put some numbers behind it. And Peralta, a lot of people thought, Mark, he might be able to turn it around. After the trade, getting traded from the Mets here to Tampa, that really has not happened. I know he's off his longest outing, but, he's got a 7.17 ERA in 4 starts since coming over. So, Tigers, your show best bet. Let us know what you think about that down in the comments section below. Before we move to the ACC, I think the Dodgers bounce back today behind Roki Sasaki.
Roki Sasaki, a very good bet today. Very good. I like.
He's given up 2 runs or less in 6 straight starts.
He's been very, very good. And part of me just wants to bet the over because it was a lower scoring game last night, and the Dodgers score a ton on the road. The Braves score a ton at home. AJ Smith-Shawver is making his 3rd start. Hasn't really been all that great, but just hard to figure out what they're going to be. A lot of early day baseball here today.
And I'll say this: the Dodgers. It looked like they were going to tie the game up in the 9th. Ohtani leads things off with a triple. They don't get him home.
That was kind of nuts.
4 hitters.
Woe to them who had the over last night.
I mean,
in a 4-3
you had to think
4-4 tie would have got you home.
Yankees, by the way, are still officially listing undecided. Our good friend Adam Trigger is telling me it will probably be Elmer Rodriguez, possibly with an opener in front. I think your Yankees could bounce back as well. So that's Major League Baseball.
With Elmer Fudd on the mound?
Well, no, Elmer Rodriguez.
You wascally wabbit?
No, that's not Elmer Fudd. They're not shooting anybody. Although that would make it easier for the Yankees to win if he was shooting the hitters.
Yeah, well, their offense.
I believe.
So. I will say this much. Again, I would just play the over. I wanted to play the over last night. Thought the Yankees would win. Obviously, they did not because that just, they suck. Anyway.
A rare bullpen gag from the Yanks. I know you hate Aaron Boone. It's been well documented on the program, but their bullpen, come on. It's been a strength.
Bullpen's been good, yeah. I mean, you can't get mad at it. The numbers proofs in the pudding, but I would still bet the over because the Yankees offense is kind of back. All of a sudden, they've just figured out a way to hit the ball and score runs. So that's kind of my lean.
All right. Shall we now transition into football? I think that's what the itinerary calls for here, Mark Zinno. Now, we're going to talk about the ACC today. We'll talk about the Big 12 tomorrow, I think. Stay tuned for that. But the ACC, Mark, now you have already done some previews here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. All the more reason to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. You have also written a fine column at ESPN.com.
Yes.
I will give you a shout out for that, where you have talked about your favorite bets for each of the major conferences. Get us started here. For those who may have missed the video, first of all, shame on you. But bring us up to speed. Your favorite bets in the ACC. I know what they are, but I'm going to react to them here, and I'll throw a few at you, and I got some questions as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were 3 different plays in the ACC that I had looked at. We'll start with Virginia over 7.5 wins. Second year in a row, the scheduling gods look favorably upon the Cavaliers. They avoid Notre Dame and Miami. They swap out Stanford and Louisville for Syracuse and SMU. So there's really no change there. Stanford and Syracuse both were kind of bad, and Louisville and SMU are both kind of good. Dallas is the farthest west they have to travel. So it's just one time zone. And I think the toughest road environment that the Cavaliers will face will be Lane Stadium in the Commonwealth Cup. Questions on the offense? Bo Prabula, the Missouri transfer, comes in, but 6 starters return and 4 of the 5 offensive linemen return. So, that part there is going to be very good. Tony Elliott's done a great job with this team. They still win with defense. They return 8 starters, 4 of the top 6 tacklers from last season. And UVA is a projected favorite in all but 2 games this year. If somehow the Cavaliers beat North Carolina State in their first game, which, oh, by the way, they haven't done since 2012. I think they actually get to 9 wins this year.
Is this for you just a sheer numbers play? Because I'm going to throw this back. Virginia, to me, is a team that is going to take, I had them immediately marked down as a team that was going to take a step back in terms of wins from relative to last year. Now they won. Well, it was a school record 11 last year. They were 3-0 in overtime games. This was a team that lived a charmed life. This is the one of your 3 bets that I don't know if I can get on board. I agree, but the regression is built in, right? Is that what we're seeing? Is that a fair statement for me to say?
The regression is built into the number, but going from 11 to 8 is defined as regression and still cashes my ticket.
Exactly. That's all I was saying.
That's
a fine answer. That's what I wanted to say.
If this was at 8.5 or 9, we're having a different conversation. And it's why it's juiced as much as it is to the over at -150. But again, this is the ACC, and Virginia's actually starting to build something with Tony Elliott. The track record's been there. So if the schedule would look different, if they had Notre Dame and Miami on there, it's just the scheduling gods look very favorably upon them, and I'm willing to back it.
I like your other 2 quite a bit that you wrote about and you talked about in the video. Do you want to go Virginia Tech or Georgia Tech next?
Start with we'll stay in the Commonwealth state of Virginia first.
This is an easy team to bet to improve.
Yes, it is. Now, again, you're going to pay for this here
Yes.
at over 6.5 wins at -170. But, look at what James Franklin is walking into. Hokies are one of 7 teams in the country to return at least 17 starters, and 9 of them are on offense. He brings Ethan Grunkemeyer. So he brought Ethan Grunkemeyer from Happy Valley with him. And in the strangest of twists, the guy who got fired, Brent Pry, as last year's coach of Virginia Tech, he's back to coach the defense, which actually is a plus because a lot of guys in that locker room know him. They like him. He's probably better on the defensive side of the ball, which is where he came from. And so that helps a ton for James Franklin. I don't think a 5-0 start for the Hokies is out of the realm of possibility. The toughest opponent they play in the first 5 weeks is Pittsburgh in week 5, but the game's at Lane Stadium. It's at home.
On a Friday night.
Yeah, the downside is that they play 6 true road games this year, and they could likely lose 4 of the last 5, including the Commonwealth Cup to UVA, as we just talked about. But overall, for Virginia Tech, it feels like when you look at the entirety of their schedule here, BP, that this sets up quite well for them. The 2 early road games were at Maryland and Boston College, both very, very winnable. Their first, put it this way, though, I will say this much. If they end up 5-0, when they head out to Cal on the following Saturday, I'll be slamming the Bears in that spot.
It'd be interesting, though. You know what, though? I could see a 5-0 team be ranked. That would be the classic 5-0 team. Mm-hmm. They're ranked number 23 in the country, and they're a short underdog at Cal. That would be a classic smash.
And by the way, 4 of the last 5 games, as I mentioned, at Clemson, at MSU, home for Stanford, at Miami, and Virginia. There's a real possibility they lose 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, but I again, this 5-0 start, you mentioned some of the games, but they're starting with VMI at home, Old Dominion at home. The good way to build confidence under a new head coach. 2 easy home games. Then they go out to Maryland, who could be down this year. BC is as bad as it gets in the ACC, and then the home game against Pittsburgh. So, yeah, it's funny. This is the opposite, if you will, of Virginia, the first team we talked about, where clearly the expectation this team will improve in year 1 under Franklin is built into the number. Just to remind people, the Hokies were 3-9 last season, Mark, and now they're being projected at 7.5. But still, I think all signs point up. This is a classic case of, all signs are pointing up. I thought this team would be better last year, and Pry was getting, but it didn't happen, and Pry lost his head coaching job. One team that we both think is going to take a step back this year is Georgia Tech, your neck of the woods down in Atlanta.
I love Brent Key. I love Brent Key as a head coach. Stand-up dude.
Good against ranked opponents
Really,
at home.
Yes, great against ranked opponent, especially as a double-digit dog, including some outright upsets. He's amazing. But the problem is that he's lost a ton from last year, especially when you lose Haynes King, who played at a Heisman level last year. His successor was supposed to be Aaron Philo. Aaron Philo is no longer at Georgia Tech. He decided to follow Buster Faulkner, Georgia Tech's OC, to Florida with John Summerall to go play in the swamp. So lost their quarterback from last year. The backup who was supposed to take over lost him along with the OC, who is now all in Florida. Think it can't get worse? Only 2 offensive line starters returned. So 60% of the O-line is turnover. Their defensive coordinator, Blake Gideon, who's a real nice guy. I met him a couple of times. He's a graduate of Texas. He's back in the Longhorn State with the Longhorns. So offense coordinator gone. Defense coordinator gone. Yellow Jackets only returned 10 starters in total. It's an avalanche of change. They are only favored in 4 conference games this year, and they would likely need to win 2 out of 3 against Tennessee, Clemson, and Georgia to get to 7 wins.
That's not happening.
I just don't see it. Again, to get to Tennessee, they play Tennessee at home in week 2, right? They host first 3 games. Home for Colorado. Last year, if this was last year's team, I'd absolutely say it was a win. Remember, last year they went to Colorado, and I remember this because I bet on them to go over 28.5 points, and they landed on 27. Why? Because they turned the ball over 3 times on their first 3 drives, and I was losing my mind.
I think Colorado could be a little live in that spot.
They may be, yeah. We'll see. But then they host Tennessee, and they get Mercer. I mentioned all the look at the tough road spots. They got to go to Virginia Tech, incredibly tough place to play. Yes. Pitt is another tough place to play. That game on Halloween.
Late in the year, too.
Right. Louisville, they get at home. They got to travel to Clemson. And the Georgia game is between the hedges at Sanford Stadium. It's tough, man. They may get to 6 wins and squeak out a bowl berth, but I have a hard time finding 7.
This is another one where the regression is built into the number. This was a 9-4 team last year, but it's built in for a reason. I mean, I think Haynes King, but the loss of Buster Faulkner, the OC, you mentioned that at the top, cannot be undersold. That is a really, really big deal. I'm going to throw a couple back at you now, a couple win totals that I was looking at here. Another team that I think falls off is Wake Forest. This was the ACC. I'm going to be honest with you, in general, as a whole, I am not high on this conference in general. Spoiler alert, I think Miami might have a bit of a cakewalk to its first ACC title since this conference.
Bush administration.
Yes. But Wake Forest was another 9-win team that was fortunate last year. They were real fortunate last year. The Demon Deacons were. So I think they're going to take a step back, similar to a Georgia Tech. And then on the other side, a team that I think is being undervalued, NC State. I like them over their win total. Any thoughts?
I got burned by Dave Doran last year, and I'm not really interested in doing it again. Again, you know what the problem is with NC State? Do you want me to tell you what the problem is? Because I could tell you here 1 second. Hang on. The stupid computer is not moving. A lot of this hinges on week 1 against Virginia.
Yeah, so you've got Virginia over. I've got NC State over. I feel, I don't know.
I mean, in general, it's just like that game but that game I don't count as a win for Virginia. I mean, and even at that puts them.
NC State might need it to get over there, but I don't know. I think NC State is a little low.
I mean, the schedule sets up favorably, right? They only get Louisville. I'll give you that much, right? The back half of their schedule, super winnable. Going to Stanford is always tough when you go fly cross country, but it's at Stanford, Cal, Duke, Syracuse, Florida State, and North Carolina. Vanderbilt is not what they were last year. That's probably still a winnable game. This is a very easy schedule here. What is it, 8.5 or 9.5, you say?
For NC State?
Yes.
8.5.
Yeah, I mean
7.5. Pardon me, it's 7.5.
Oh, well, 7.5, then I would probably co-sign that a lot more.
Yes. Wolfpack in the house, they avoid Miami, Clemson, and SMU. You talk about the schedule. Yeah. Now, on the negative, they were outgained by over 50 yards per game in conference play, so they were not good last year, as you kind of alluded to, not great. This Virginia game, by the way, that's in Charlottesville, the opener, that was originally supposed to be played in Brazil.
That's right. Yeah.
Vini Jr., Neymar. We're going to have front row seats. Not anymore.
Even
it's in Charlottesville.
Even if you concede losses at Vanderbilt, at home against Louisville, and at Florida State, they could still lose to Virginia, and you're in a great spot. What you can't do is drop the game out west of Stanford, and you can't lose to North Carolina.
No, but I mean, a lot of, yeah. I mean, the Virginia one will tell us a lot. But yeah, so there we go. All right. Where did I want to go next?
Home?
I mean, you can get over 7.5. It's +1. I just double checked this. It's +120 at over 7.5 on the Wolfpack. I think the Wolfpack is in the house. Don't think they'll be in the Don't think they'll be in the ACC championship game. Let me just ask you this: Miami of Florida. They have never won the ACC. It's going to happen this year, right? Remember, they make it all the way. They weren't even in the conference championship game last year. They make it to play for the national championship. The Hurricanes, even at -135, -140, I think there's value on betting them to win the championship at that price, because when they get into the theoretical ACC championship game, my guess, Mark Zinno, they will be larger than a -130, -140 money line favorite. You can maybe hedge at that point.
I would tend to agree. I would probably tell you, for as much as you're willing to put a flyer on Miami to win the ACC, I'd also throw one down on Louisville at 8-1.
So let's talk about who could. I think one of the everybody thinks Miami's going to be in the ACC championship game, if not win it, right? I think the more interesting question is who would be their potential opponent. I'm looking at 3 teams: SMU, Louisville, Clemson, maybe. I don't know. Has the game passed Dabo by? We shall see. But SMU has been very good since coming to this conference. They're a good home team. I like them over 8.5 wins, the Ponies. But I'll tell you this: if you want to bet them to make the conference championship game, wait. Because 2 of their hardest games this season come in the first 3 weeks. At Florida State, at Louisville, one of them, you're probably getting a better price than what you're getting right now.
I mean, here's why. Again, I think you're better off. I'm going to go back to Miami and Louisville. I think you're better off betting Louisville to win it and then hedging with Miami, to be perfectly honest with you. Because the Louisville number is not going to get as high as it is now. I mean, look, they open up with Ole Miss in a neutral site game, okay? That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to winning the ACC. Villanova, they host SMU. Stop me when you say this is a bona fide loss, okay?
I'm with you. And
okay, Wake Forest at home, NC State on the road, home for Florida State, at Syracuse, home for Stanford, at Georgia Tech, at North Carolina, home for Pitt, at Kentucky, which again doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know if they lose an ACC game. There's a world where they go undefeated in the ACC. Just because that schedule is so damn easy.
It is. The schedule. Now they're dealing with some injuries at running back, but again, I think that inhibit if they drop the Ole Miss game, the opener, and that's a game. By the way, Jeff Brom, the coach of the Louisville, he typically excels in spots like that as an underdog. We saw them beat Miami last year. Louisville, I was on Louisville in that game. It was a weeknight game. But again, to your point, losing to Ole Miss doesn't affect their ACC odds, obviously. So, all right, Louisville and SMU, I think, are the top challengers. We agree for Miami, Florida in this conference. Just to kind of cycle through the rest before we say goodnight, Mark. Obviously, the dregs of this league: Boston College, Stanford, Syracuse. Those I would not expect them to do anything. I think Duke is also going to take a big step back. Duke is Duke. They, again, they were like a Wake Forest last year. Very Duke was to get to where they did. They lose Darian Menza to Miami. They lost their star receiver to Miami. So a lot of talent exported there in Durham. The 2 wild cards are North Carolina and Florida State for me. I think North Carolina could be really bad. Like real bad. There's a lot of bad vibes around this program. Look, Bill Belichick has a Hall of Fame career in the NFL. Doesn't mean he's going to coach well in college in the year 2026.
No. I would look to a lot of your North Carolina unders this year.
And then Florida State, I don't know. Mike Norvell, a lot of people think he's going to get 86th in Tallahassee. I think the floor is okay in Florida State. I don't know. So I think they might be better than expected.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to add? I think we hit a lot there. We gave the people a lot in 20 minutes. I defy you to find another program on planet Earth that gave you that much information about the ACC in a 20-minute span, as Mark Zinno and I just did. Smash that like button if you agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, are you going to smash the like button? I guess we're recording. It's not up yet, but I'll remind you to. Let's remind the people about this. We're both coming off winning days. We're both seeing it well. You're 8-1-1 your last 10. I'm 24-12-2 my last 38 in Major League Baseball. If you'd like all of our Major League Baseball plays for the next 3 days, you can get them for $69. You'll also, if you wait till Thursday, you'll get our any college football week 0 as well. And any soccer where I am destined to turn around after a miserable start to the European soccer season.
Les Miserables.
I saw somebody commented about that. You're right. I acknowledged it on Monday. It was a poor start.
All
Soccer
right.
for me.
You're going to turn it around. Everyone's going to turn it around. Turn around, bright eyes. By the way, tomorrow I have a story to tell you guys. You're going to laugh.
Oh, no.
I have a story. Remember in the intro it says I have a story to tell. Can I tell you a story? Well, I'm going to tell you a story.
Yes. I have a story to tell. A story about $21 million. Splash Sports.
That's a good story.
Use password WagerTalk when you sign up. Mark Zinno and I are already entered. We're going to be talking about this every Friday during the NFL season. Our survivor entry. Mark Zinno and I will be $10.5 million richer each when this contest is over. If you would like to deny Mark Zinno and I $10.5 million, go ahead and enter. Try to beat us. Beat us if you can. Survive if we let you, Mark. All right.
Do your best.
All right. With that, we're done. We covered a lot today. What a great show this was.
I thought so.
Dan Hawkins. Till then, let's cash some tickets.
Chances high or low.